a news story that I read on Facebook because I'm a millennial and that's where I get my news from. Facebook. Anybody else? All right. Well, it was one of those clickbait, cringy articles. Do you ever click on those? Like, I'm obsessed with those cringy clickbait articles. They're like, you won't believe what happened. And I'm like, no, I wouldn't. Click on it. I'm like, oh my, I didn't believe it. Anybody else? Okay, that's where I spend most of my time. And I read this about the world's most expensive painting. It was bought in 2005 at a estate sale in New Orleans for $1,700. A few years later, it was sold for $450 million. It was a lost Leonardo da Vinci painting called the Salvator Mundi. And they thought, we have found a lost painting from the Leonardo da Vinci. And it was sold and hung in museums all across the world, but there were people who were skeptics. They didn't believe that it was real, and so it went under a series of investigations and a process to determine if it was genuine or if it was fake. And after years, it was revealed that it was a counterfeit. It was a fraud. It wasn't a real Da Vinci painting. It was a copy of a copy, but it wasn't the actual thing. And I just thought, I couldn't imagine spending $450 million on anything, right? Except for Multiply. Come on, we need that new building, right? But I don't know what's worse, right? Spending it on a painting or finding out that the painting you bought was a fake. And I thought that's going to be the perfect illustration to open up my sermon today, because we're going to meet a man in Acts that on the surface, he looks real, genuine. But upon a closer investigation, with a little examination, he's proved to be nothing more than a fraud. He is not who he says he is. He is a fake. He is a counterfeit convert. He is a fake Christian. And the sermon title for today out of Acts 8 is this: Are you a fake Christian? You know, it is possible for someone to say there's something and then not be that thing. Like, you know that is possible, right? Like, some people, they profess a faith they don't possess. They say there's something, but then their life doesn't line up with who they say that they are. It's possible for someone to say something and then not be that thing. I'll give you an example. My name is Byron, and I am a prima ballerina. Y'all watch me, right? I can pirouette, I can be in first position, I can get in second position. I am a prima ballerina, right? And you'd say, no, you're not. And I'm going to say, who are you to judge me? I'm a ballerina in my heart. It's 2023. I can identify as whatever I want, right? I am a ballerina. You don't get to tell me my truth. My truth is I'm a ballerina, right? You say, no, Byron, because your truth doesn't line up with reality. Because you don't carry the culture of a dancer. You don't look like a dancer. I've seen you dance during worship, and Lord, you need some help, right? You can't even clap on beat, let alone keep one. Like, you're not, because my life doesn't match up with my words. My actions don't match my words. And when it comes to Christianity, there are people who profess a faith they don't possess because they don't practice what they preach. Like, it's possible for people to claim to be a Christian and then not be one. And we're going to see a man in the book of Acts who on the surface looks like he has everything all together, but upon a closer examination, he turns out to be a fraud. And this is important because some of us might be wondering, like, Byron, why are you preaching this message? Like, I want to hear a good word, a happy word. Pat me on the back and tell me everything's okay. This may not be the sermon that you wanted, but I believe it's a sermon that many people need. It's important for us to sometimes take a look in the mirror, because here's what Paul writes in 2 Corinthians 13:5. Examine yourselves to see whether or not you're in the faith. Test yourselves, not test your neighbor. Test yourselves Or do you not realize this about yourselves, that Jesus Christ is in you, unless indeed you fail to meet the test? Which means that most of us, we're going to pass the test. But some of us may not. Which is why it's important for us to examine ourselves on occasion, from time to time, to take a look in the mirror and be like, am I who I say I am? Am I professing faith? Or am I practicing what I know to be real and true? Do I profess the faith that I actually possess?